Today, we're counting down 8 people who almost died but miraculously survived. And trust me, these stories aren't the ones you're used to hearing. Ready to be amazed? Let's jump right in! Our first story is about Harrison O'Keefe, a Nigerian cook who went to work one day and ended up trapped in a nightmare. In 2013, O'Keefe was aboard a tugboat that capsized off the coast of Nigeria. The boat sank to the ocean floor, 100 feet underwater. Miraculously, O'Keefe survived in a small air pocket wearing only his underwear, in pitch-black darkness for 3 days. As hypothermia set in and his body weakened, he drank from a bottle of Coca-Cola he found. But just as hope was fading, divers searching for bodies found him alive, sitting in the pocket of air like a ghost from the deep. He was rescued, astonishingly alive after 72 hours at the bottom of the ocean. Next, let's travel to the snowy mountains of Norway in 1999, where a young Swedish radiologist named Anna Bogenholm experienced one of the coldest survivals ever recorded. While skiing, she lost control and fell headfirst into an icy stream, becoming trapped under a thick sheet of ice. For 80 minutes, she was submerged in freezing water, and when rescuers finally pulled her out, her body temperature had plummeted to 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit, far below what was thought to be survivable. Her heart had stopped beating for over an hour, but doctors refused to give up. Using a series of extraordinary medical techniques, they slowly warmed her up. Against all odds, she regained consciousness, beating death itself. Science enthusiasts, this one's for you. In 1978, Russian scientist Anatoly Bugorsky was working on a particle accelerator when he made a mistake that should have killed him instantly. He accidentally stuck his head into the path of a proton beam, a beam that's 1,000 times more powerful than the radiation of the Hiroshima bomb. The beam entered his skull at the back of his head and exited near his nose, burning through his brain and face. Bugorsky was expected to die within days. Instead, he defied all logic by not only surviving but continuing his scientific career with a paralyzed left side of his face, completely altering the understanding of radiation exposure. Next, we find ourselves in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. In 1971, 17-year-old Julianne Kepke was on a flight to Peru when her plane was struck by lightning, disintegrating mid-air. Still strapped to her seat, Julianne fell 10,000 feet, crashing into the jungle canopy. Somehow she survived with just a broken collarbone and cuts. For the next 11 days she trekked alone through the dense Amazon, fighting off hunger, thirst, and infection until she was finally rescued. Her incredible survival in such a hostile environment is a testament to human endurance and sheer willpower. Meet Roy Sullivan, a U.S. park ranger whose story is straight out of a comic book, known as the Human Lightning Rod. Roy was struck by lightning not once but 7 times throughout his life, each time narrowly escaping death. One bolt set his hair on fire, another knocked him off his feet, and yet another scorched his legs. Despite the unthinkable odds and multiple injuries, Roy survived every strike. Statistically, he was more likely to win the lottery several times than survive all those lightning strikes. His life story is a shocking, literally, example of resilience. In 1985, British mountaineer Joe Simpson was climbing the Ciula Grande in the Peruvian Andes with his partner, Simon Yates. An accident left him with a broken leg at 20,000 feet. Yates, believing Simpson dead after a failed attempt to lower him down, was forced to cut the rope. Simpson fell into a crevasse and was left for dead, but he miraculously survived the fall and, over the next 3 days, crawled back to base camp with a shattered leg, without food, water, or hope of rescue. His story became the subject of the book and film, an epic tale of endurance. Then there's the story of Mauro Prosperi, an Italian marathon runner who got lost in the Sahara Desert during the Marathon des Sables in 1994. After a violent sandstorm blew him off course, he wandered alone in the scorching heat with limited supplies. He drank his urine to survive and took refuge in an abandoned shrine. After 9 days in the desert, dehydrated and delirious, he was found by a nomadic family who saved his life. Prosperi's survival is a testament to human tenacity in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Finally, let's talk about Vesna Vulovic, a Serbian flight attendant who holds the Guinness World Record for surviving the highest fall without a parachute. In 1972, a bomb exploded on her flight over Czechoslovakia, causing the plane to break apart at 33,000 feet. Vesna fell from the wreckage, somehow landing on a snowy mountainside. She was critically injured, but survived, spending several months in a coma. Doctors believe a combination of the plane's tail section, the snowy terrain, and her position as a flight attendant saved her life. a miraculous tale of survival against the highest of odds. And there you have it, 8 incredible stories of people who came face to face with death and somehow survived. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing content. Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.